show. It's like a real show.
Can you believe that? That's wild. That. I love it.
Amazing. That should have gone on a little longer. There should have been more arrows and things.
Yeah, and like at least like a little bit of like background chatter.
So we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Workshop.
Well, it's been a minute.
It has
because of travel schedules and God knows what else. Because we are a traveling bunch around here. But Andrew, let's break down the continued grand slide into oblivion.
Let's look at
the Drudge headline from today of Donald Trump's. We don't have a clip of it, but the Drudge headline today has Trump in ruins, approval 34%.
I mean,
I would say ruins is pretty
ruins. Yeah, the ashes of his former approval.
Yep.
It's brutal. And we've said it before. Say it again. He's not going to escape this. It's only going to get worse and worse.
Is this RV or LV on this poll? Do we know?
It does not have in our methodology down there. I don't see it.
But I think this is RV, which is he does a little better with.
Yeah, he does.
RV than L. Folks, let's registered voters versus likely voters.
Yeah, this is the New York Times average.
Yeah.
He's just slowly pulling away.
Guys, it's just you are never going to see this. You're never going to see his numbers above 40% again.
No, I think what you'll get here in the future of Donald Trump is he's going to be permanently associated with the return of inflation.
Yep.
We've been seeing headlines throughout the week that inflation is back faster than it has been in many years since COVID, basically. That's going to be his legacy. And it's already starting to drag him down to where he will be when he leaves office. So this is just a downslide until we're done with him.
I was having a conversation this morning via Signal with the friend of ours in San Francisco. I was talking, you and I have been talking about. He and I were talking this morning, and he asked me that question, like, does this make it less likely he'll try to stay? That his numbers are so bad. I'm like, yeah. When he was rocking at 50% approval, even at the end of 2020, he still had high approval ratings among big cohorts of the country. And now those don't exist. And now it's harder to make the political case that he has to stay for a third term.
This is interesting. I think there's actually a good reason to believe that he's not going to try to stay. I go back to the IRS deal with Todd Blanche, the corrupt deal that he got to protect himself and his family from paying taxes basically ever. Because, if you can't be audited, you don't really have to pay taxes. And I'm sure that the Trump family is perfectly okay with that.
Right. That's kind of a pretty good deal for them.
What he's found out is that government is the best hustle, the easiest hustle that he's ever done.
Ever.
But he has to escape from this hustle before he gets punished. The IRS deal is a part of setting it up so that he gets to escape unscathed and gets to, essentially be above the law in perpetuity, but not be president forever.
Yeah,
I think that's right.
Plan. I think that's right. Oh, there's my granddaughter. Look at her.
Hello.
Cruising through.
Can we get you something? So I think he's trying to protect himself for when it all comes to an end. Do you need to come up here? You want to say hello? And I think he also sees the writing on the wall. He knows that his polls are terrible.
Oh yeah,
and he's furious about it. And I don't know if he can take much more criticism.
And look, I think when you look at, you were saying this a year ago. If the economic numbers don't swing back in a meaningful way, he's going to end up eventually absorbing that radiation. Because you know what? Nobody cares about the complexities of the underlying economic stuff. They care about how bad it hurts them, and it hurts them right now a lot. And he doesn't seem to have any, I think in the minds of voters, doesn't seem to touch on any of these most important issues that we've got out there.
No, he's focused on putting his face on the $250 bill.
Right.
Everyone's talking about the economy. Everyone's thinking about their pocketbook. Yep. And that's how they're going to be voting in November. And he's redesigning Washington. He's spending money on
the reflecting pool and whatever this goddamn idiocracy
demon summoning ritual on the White House lawn that he's going to perform at this UFC rally. It's some kind of sick. And this stuff. I think
This stuff.
This is amazing. If you're putting your face on a $250 banknote, that's a bigger banknote than we have in circulation right now.
Correct.
You are going to be permanently associating yourself with runaway inflation. I think it's a really bad idea.
He's Mugabe maxing.
Mugabe
Let's
maxing.
add some zeros to that. So
I mean, alongside all the corruption, I think he is building a legacy of inflation with stuff like this. And he wants it because it's the biggest bill. He wants it because he wants his face on everything, every building, every government document, everything like that. But this is actually, I think, a really bad idea. Yeah. He's in a lot of trouble.
But yeah, I mean, and going back to this, those numbers on the economy, when we're looking at a 6-month window here, 5-month window here, where the economy is always, folks, generally are in the high 30s. It's always the biggest issue overall.
Right.
We're now at 41%. There are two things coming. I was out in San Francisco and I spoke to somebody who's, who really knows the oil and gas stuff.
Right.
And she said at the end of June, the shortages are real. The strategic reserve is dry. And all the onshore stocks are starting to get very, very thin. And that 41% putting the economy as the top issue right now. Democrats, please listen to us. Do not be distracted. Stay on target. It's the economy, stupid.
It seems so obvious, like it's battering you over the head. Even the things that Democrats poll well on healthcare. If you asked voters in this poll, who's doing a better job on healthcare, it's almost always Democrats. But people aren't thinking about healthcare as the most important issue right now. Of course, healthcare costs go into how they think about the economy,
right?
But it's not something that they're as focused on as what's happening with inflation.
Correct.
It is, returning to, and this is another one of those things where, because it was such a verbatim promise as a campaign promise to bring down inflation, it hurts him doubly that he's really stepping in it. I mean, he already did. I mean, again, it's another one of those things. It's irreversible. He can't reverse what's happening with Iran and what happened with the Strait of Hormuz because he already made the reckless choice to
the decision. So you broke the vase. It's
right.
Done.
Yeah. And he's, it's the bull in a china shop element of Trump where he can wreck and wreck and wreck, but he'll never be able to put any of this back together. He does it with everything. And I think he's doing it with his party too. I want to talk about Texas for a second, if you don't mind.
No, I'd love to talk about Texas. Then we'll go back to some congressional generic stuff. But
let's
do Texas real quick.
Let's cover a little Texas. So this is a Texas Senate poll, and we have Tallarico leading by a decent margin, outside the margin of error.
That's not nothing.
And it's a Tallarico internal, granted, but it shows, I think, that they feel confident. And he's an excellent fundraiser. And I have relatively high hopes for Texas, given everything that's happened. Paxton's not a good candidate. He's not favored by the National Party, which isn't important for the base, but it's important for money. And John Cornyn was one of those people who was an institutional fundraiser in the Republican Party. And I think losing him is really painful for congressional Republicans. I mean, he's one of many recent, institutional fundraisers in the party who's been pushed out. And I think
John was the oil and gas whisperer for the Senate committee.
Right. And I think, an interesting knock-on effect of Ken Paxton winning and Cornyn being being disconnected from the National Party outside of Congress is that it makes MAGA and Trump more reliant on tech money, the new money. I think it pushes them more in that direction. And so we get this kind of sick cycle now where tech is feeding MAGA. And there's a connection here with Ken Paxton. But,
Andrew, that's a really good point because the complexities of their fundraising right now are they. It used to be you'd go out to go to the board of a big oil and gas company in Texas, and you'd sit down, and the board would all max out to you, and they'd send $250,000 to your super PAC, and you'd walk out of there with call it a $500,000 day, right?
Right.
Well, now they're like calling Larry Ellison or Elon Musk and saying, "Hey, I need $150 million," and that's not out of the question for them anymore.
Right.
But what you have to do for that is to say, yes, we're going to have a federal standard so data centers can be built everywhere all the time.
Right.
And all of it comes down to a really fundamental question. Does the tech industry's race to do CapEx, capital expenditures on AI, end up obligating these Republicans to subsidizing it federally? And let me tell you, if they get in that box, the American people will be out in the streets with pitchforks and torches.
Yeah.
There'll be people looking up how to make a guillotine.
I'm surprised we haven't reached that point yet. I think we're sort of headed for the tech MAGA takeover. I mean, the party's gone. Like the party that supported John Cornyn is like supine in the face of MAGA. Correct. And the base. But of course, none of this is relevant to like the base of the party. The base of the party is with Trump, 100%. I mean, not 100%.
And I keep reminding people, and we've talked about this a bit. There is a mistake people make categorically about Trump's political power, and a lot of reporters make this mistake. He can tell anybody in the primary what to do. Sure, that's like I used to know this guy in college. He wasn't funny. He wasn't smart. He wasn't good looking, but he could fucking juggle, right? And whatever party you went to, the fucker had tennis balls. He was I hated him. I fucking couldn't. He was in another fraternity next door to us. I couldn't stand this fucking guy because all he could do was juggle. He was just like not a cool guy to hang around with, not funny. This is Trump's one trick. He's got one fucking party trick. He can juggle. He can make the party bark like a dog.
Right. Yeah.
And my take on a lot of reporters is they're like, oh, well, he's so powerful inside the party that makes it. But no, it doesn't. This is a smaller and smaller audience all the time for these people.
Yeah.
And look, Texas is a high hill. It has broken many hearts, as somebody pointed out in the chats. Somebody just said that a judge temporarily barred Trump administration from creating the slush fund.
Well, that's good. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
But Ken Paxton, I think, is an interesting character as well. He's sort of a man.
Yeah, he's a degenerate criminal.
He's a man after Trump's own heart. See public
protects pedophile rapists.
Future career. They're perfect for each other.
They really are.
And this is the kind of person that Trump is okay with being in the Senate. He clearly has absolutely no respect for the institution.
No. Look, he expects obedience from Paxton. If Paxton wins, he'll get obedience from him.
Yeah.
That's just a 101 thing. Let's go back to that congressional ballot because it ain't getting any better.
No, this is a 9-point spread on the congressional ballot, which puts a lot of races in play. And this is also something I want to talk about. Walk people through that. Why this number now is getting to the point where if you're in an R+5 seat, you're not safe anymore. Right. When you pass into 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9 spread on a congressional ballot, you're entering territory where relatively safe seats are in much more danger. And the way that a lot of redistricting has been done is to create seats that are in the 3, 4, 5 range.
Right.
So when you have a big spread on the congressional ballot, and these gerrymanders are designed so that they maximize seats, which means that they're not going to be R+15. They're going to be R+3, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm. They can only spread the peanut butter so thin across the toast.
So when you start to reach above that in these congressional ballot numbers, and it's not a perfect science, but it puts safe seats, a large number of safe seats, at risk because the bulk of those seats are 3, 4, and 5s, the way they've been redistricted. So this is and this has been a widespread for a long time. You can go back to where we see it starting to diverge in December or January. I don't know if it's going to get much bigger than this, but again, like I've said in past shows, I don't think that D+9 is necessarily the best reflection of the actual election outcome, because I think it underestimates enthusiasm as a factor here, where you have Republican enthusiasm in the toilet, and it gets worse when you knock out big incumbents, somebody like John Cornyn. You lose enthusiasm among those more traditional Republican voters. They're not so convinced about Ken Paxton. They're not so excited about Ken Paxton, and they may stay home.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think if you keep knocking out people who are, it's the old Ronald Reagan dictum. My 80% ally is not my 20% enemy. But for Trump, unless you're 100% all the time, you're an enemy and have to go. So,
right. Yeah. It's 100% loyalty at all times. And you have to go along with all the corrupt insanity that he approves of.
So folks, sorry, Andrew. I was going to say, so folks, we know that it is sometimes hard to see these charts on the show. If you're watching on a phone, particularly, we get it. We're trying to do a little better in terms of giving you graphics that are sharper and clearer, and not just the stuff we've captured from the polling itself. Let's show this one, folks. This is a really telling chart, Andrew. I think this is really compelling because it shows you where the shift of support for Trump, how it's dropped.
I think this is really fascinating. And just let's start at the top, the first three: evangelical hubs, aging farmlands, and working class country. Now, these are typically places that are very strongly pro-Trump. You can see the 2024 vote: 81% of people in these places in evangelical hubs voted for Trump. 80% in aging farmlands, 73%. And in these strongholds, he's lost around 20-ish points. And that's pretty devastating. LDS enclaves, he's dropped hugely. Now, he wasn't as popular there. He's not as popular with Mormons as he is with other evangelicals. Graying America, I assume that means older neighborhoods, older people, villages.
I'm assuming that's sort of Midwest Rust Belt.
Yeah. So he's losing favor in a lot of these big tranches of important demographics.
Yeah.
You can see he's lost 14 points in Hispanic centers. And again, that's gonna sting because they put up this facade that they could somehow maintain his diverse coalition from 2024.
Look at that, Hispanic centers
not possible.
54 to 40. And what we're seeing with other Hispanic polling, as you pointed out, it's just absolutely it's absolutely flipped on its head.
Yeah. And we actually saw that starting last year in Texas.
Yeah.
And I know we're talking a lot about Texas this year. I think today, I think Texas is going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. But we've talked about.
Look, I think Andrew, if you end up on a night where James Tallarico wins, that's going to be a 40-seat night in the House nationally.
Yeah,
it's going to mean David Jolly probably becomes the governor of Florida. It's going to mean one or two of these other Senate races that the people are not watching as closely are going to get picked up.
Right. Yeah, and Senate races are something that I think a lot of Democrats should be a lot more hopeful about, a lot more optimistic about right now, because the way things are trending in the polling and in the economy, just in general, regardless of outside factors, regardless of Trump's corruption, which is a huge influencing factor for a lot of voters. Just looking at the numbers on the economy, it's we're in wave territory, and I think that may be understating how serious it's going to get. I don't necessarily want to say the Senate is up for grabs, but a very tight Senate or a one-seat Senate is a real possibility.
I'll take anything where John Thune isn't the majority leader at this point.
Yeah.
Even a +1. Although everybody needs to brace themselves. Fetterman, they're going to flip Fetterman, guys. I'm just telling you, they're going to flip 100%. Fetterman.
I am surprised it hasn't happened yet. I'm really.
I think I mean, he's voting with them like 65% of the time already, so he's gonna flip.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Democrats, you could have had Connor Lamb.
Could have had Connor Lamb.
On the good news, we're going to be rid of someone who clutches her pearls and swoons a lot. My favorite thing yesterday was Susan Collins out there saying, "I'm concerned that Graham Plattner has posted obscenities in his posts on Reddit." Well, you work for an obscenity, Susan.
It is amazing. And this is another one of those Senate races I'm actually feeling much more confident about. I think Plattner is probably going to run away with it. And
as we were talking about, within the governor's race, if Angus King III, the son of, who has the King family name there is very strong. If he's the nominee for governor, as the nominee for governor, I think they're going to that'll be a huge pull for Democratic turnout in Maine. I think it'll be a tough day for Susan Collins.
And Trump has no love for Collins. And she's never going to curry favor with him by, wringing her hands. He doesn't like that either.
No.
It's an interesting tactic on her part, and people
and his
like
mental
her.
construct, Andrew, will be she's losing because she doesn't love Trump enough.
Right. That's exactly what he's. I mean, I'm sure there's a Truth Social post out there that's in our future that says exactly that. And she's not. The problem with being on the fence about Trump for one of these Republicans is that you get the worst of both worlds. Like, you're not appealing to the Republican Party base, and you're not convincing anyone left of center that you're a serious person. So Correct. You're just pissing everybody off.
Right. It's like it's if you're gonna, nobody wants diet Trump.
No,
okay?
Nobody's interested in that.
You're going to be a Trumper. All these Republicans, the Mike Lawlers of the world, the Brian Fitzpatricks of the world, now they're suddenly like, I oppose the slush fund. I oppose this or that.
Okay.
It doesn't work, guys. It's not enough.
No, it's never.
You can't be with Trump 97% of the time and say, well, I'm going to vote 95% of the time with him instead of 97. That's going to make it all better. Nobody buys that. It's just not working.
No, it doesn't work. And Collins is also very old. I think people are ready to see her go. It's a combination of factors that I think will put her out of office. And she can say that Graham Plattner is this or that. I don't think it lands.
You know what? I don't think it lands either. And especially because I think one of the things that Democrats often do that Plattner's not doing, he's not saying be outraged about this esoteric thing in DC. He's like, be outraged how badly they're screwing you over, people of Maine. And Susan Collins doesn't have a response to that. She's like, well, on the subcommittee for fishery management, I passed a bill to allow lobstering 14 minutes later in the day, or whatever, Susan Collins' fantasy world that she lives in. I've always said this to candidates, and you've heard this a million times. When a candidate says to me, when you ask him, like, what's your predicate? What are you running on? He goes, well, it's the chairman of. I'm like, stop.
Don't do it.
Nobody cares. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. Stop. So we had a question in the production chat about the 250th anniversary celebration and how it will affect Trump's polling. It's going to go down because he's going to be a jerk.
Yeah, he's going to. This is just, another distraction. People view it as a distraction. It gets categorized as, the ballroom, the arch, the pool, and all the DC beautification nonsense that he's been doing. Nobody. It doesn't benefit anybody outside of DC.
And honestly, it's so like low rent fire festival feeling about it right now. The UFC fight and maybe Vanilla Ice still performs. We don't know. It's all the rest of the people are out.
I keep wondering. I really hope and pray that Kid Rock got an invitation to.
I mean, without
really
Kid Rock,
it.
where would America be on its 250th anniversary?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was headlining the show. I mean, I'm sure he's going to make an appearance. Let's just hope he's not drinking any milk with our
right. Well, yeah.
I don't need to see that again.
Or flying in helicopters. So we had a question about Florida. Sam, put that up. What's the?
Yeah, I saw it. They were asking about Jolly and Vindman and Moskowitz.
Oh yeah. Let me answer that in reverse. Moskowitz will win that seat. He is what you guys don't know about Jared Moskowitz. He's funny. He's witty as hell, but he is also a ferocious campaigner. That guy does the damn work.
Yeah.
He does the work. On Vindman, something's shaking loose on that campaign right now because there have been 2 polls in a row where he's inside the margin. He's behind Ashley Moody, but he's inside the margin on the last poll by 2 points, 3 points. And like guys, I cannot tell you in the state of Florida for an incumbent, she ran twice statewide for AG, never made a big splash, never like a big like center of the spotlight name. But for a guy who has not run statewide before or not run in Florida at all, Vindman has gone out and every day, you know what he says? We're going to cut these costs. We're going to crush the corruption. Holy crap. It's almost like he's running the Lincoln playbook. It's a Christmas miracle. It's really smart campaigning. So Vindman is doing very, very well. David Jolly is running. All the attention is on James Tallarico, but David Jolly is running a campaign that is as good or better.
Yeah.
He is absolutely on point, on message every day. And that is another guy. And I've known David, we've known each other a long damn time. That is another guy with hustle for days. He is on the road every single day. He's all over the state. He's doing the work. And you know what? He's doing the same thing. Affordability, getting rid of the corruption, stopping the insanity that's gone on in Tallahassee for so long. And folks, when I tell you this, and Andrew grew up here, so he knows it too. There is no city or there's no state in America more corrupt than Florida. This is quite literally a town where I have seen bags of money being given to people. This is a town of corruption at a scale where someday the FBI is going to come in here and
they have.
Well, they have. Yeah. But someday they're going to come in here and arrest 100 lobbyists and 50 members of the legislature.
Yeah.
It is that sick and corrupt.
Yeah. And
the DeSantis administration is for all you think he's like a nerdy dweeb, he's also incredibly corrupt.
Yes.
And so I think Jolly and Vindman both are hitting on something that people in Florida are like, they're like, wait, we're going to build data centers everywhere. And we're going to build offshore oil drills off the Gulf, in the Gulf. And by the way, Byron Donalds, who's running against Jolly, is the Republican nominee. Well, he's not the nominee yet, but he's going to be. Byron Donalds is owned by Silicon Valley. His super PAC is entirely funded by the guys who want to build data centers all over Florida.
And this is here's what I think is going to happen. I want people to like kind of envision this for a second. Think about these 3 factors. One is that Republicans are having to defend what were previously safe seats.
Yep.
And that's stuff like the Texas
27.
Seat. Right.
27.
Right. Republicans all over the country are going to have to defend previously safe seats, and that costs a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So there's the triage problem. Republicans are going to have to spread all this cash very thin. The redistricting issue is that they're trying to squeeze out as many districts as they can, so each one has to be thinner and thinner. The other thing that's going to happen is that you have Democrats like David Jolly and James Tallarico who are doing everything they possibly can to make it as close as possible. And then you have the national environment where people are pissed off about the economy. You put all that stuff together and you will have races that might be polling with the Republican leading, but on election night are going to be, wins by a point or 2 points, right, or maybe even less.
One way or the other.
One way or the other. A lot of very close races this year.
And as we've talked about 100 times, those independent voters right now are not bueno on the Republicans.
No, they're very unhappy.
Not happy.
The leaners towards the Republicans are probably going to stay home. Those who are more in the middle are gettable voters for Democrats if they are talking about the economy and only the economy.
Please talk about the economy.
It's as simple as that. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. You just look at these primary election outcomes. Like Ken Paxton won by a huge margin, I think, over an incumbent at least. But it's still an uphill battle.
There's also only 900,000 Republicans turned out for that race.
Right. I don't know. I have the number in front of me. If I did, I could tell you. But I think that is lower than what you normally expect in Texas. But you'll see that on election night. Republicans won't come out in the same numbers, obviously, compared to 2024, but even compared to 2022 and 2018. There's just so many factors that they are going to have, that the Republicans are going to have so much trouble overcoming, that there's just too much risk. Like you can't triage all the races. You can't spend all the money in every race.
And they have a lot of money, but they don't have infinite money. And it's like this Texas race in a runoff and a primary in Texas between two Republicans. They burned about $130 million between them.
That's a lot.
That money's gone, folks. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. So, let's look at this. The Fire Festival is down. Brett Michaels is out now too.
Florida
down to Vanilla Ice and Florida.
Oh man!
And I don't think Flo's going to stick with it either.
I hope not.
Once again, folks, Donald Trump wants to command the culture, and Republicans are deep in the Republican soul. They're like, I hate Hollywood. I hate celebrities. I hate them. I hate them. They love them. They're obsessed with them. They desperately want their own celebrities, and those people. God bless them. They're all folks from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, and they're not
relevant.
They're not the center of the culture. I'm trying to be as nice as I can.
I mean, God knows, you don't see them on TikTok.
No, you do not.
You don't see them online. I mean, it's just when they're scraping the barrel for influencers, it's kind of a sign that everything from 2024 has already collapsed. The influencers were a really important part of Trump's campaign.
Sure.
And you're not seeing those names that you saw on the campaign trail in 2024. They're just not there. They're, Tony Hinchcliffe, the guy who made that Puerto Rico comment.
Theo Vaughn.
Rogan's even, mild.
Rogan is sort of qualifiedly anti-Trump these days.
Somewhat, I would say.
Somewhat.
So
he's still a sort of like conspiracy dipshit, but okay.
He is. But he's lost a lot of these people who were really important for the young male demographic. And the problem with that is he's lost them, but the Republican Party hasn't retained them either. So it's another one of those pieces of the foundation that's falling off.
Right. And as much as that white male 18 to 30, what I call the fishback demo, is kind of weirdly, they're kind of weirdly Hitler curious. Well, that Austrian fellow had some good ideas. They're just not that engaged when Trump's not at the top of the ticket.
Don't care.
They're just not that excited about
it.
But Democrats, that does not mean that they have become AOC progressives. Please bear this in mind.
Please.
Andrew, we have one final poll to show folks. This is the choice in this election. Everybody gets a puppy or diarrhea forever. Choose accordingly.
I don't think it's going to be 50.1 to 49.9. I hope. We'll see. Some people don't like dogs. This is the choice too, because what the Republican Party has on offer is essentially it's not diarrhea forever necessarily. It's continue to just like turn a blind eye to the corruption that's coming out of the White House. That's what they have on offer. They also have these favorable legislation for crypto and prediction markets and all this stuff. This is what they want to do.
None of it sells.
None of it does anything. And the big beautiful bill, you hear about that anymore? I don't hear it very often.
No, you don't. And you know what? It helped America's struggling mom and pop billionaires like Elon Musk more
It
than
was really
anything.
tough. He was having a tough go of it.
Wow. Well, oh wow, 35 minutes in, folks. We are, as always, delighted to join you every Friday. Our travel schedule has been a little bit wonky lately, but we're back on track. It's going to be a long, hot summer. No, Charlotte, a puppy with diarrhea is a nightmare from hell. I do not care for.
I'm not going to talk about that.
But thanks so much for watching. But do me a big favor. Go out, whatever platform you watch this on, like, subscribe, do the things, click that bell if you're watching this on YouTube. Share this on your socials. We really appreciate it. We love doing the show, and we're really grateful for you all tuning in. So until next time, this has been Behind the Numbers with Rick and Andrew Wilson, and we will talk to you all again very soon.